Scaling your credit repair business is super, super simple. By the end of the video, I'm going to show you why it's super simple. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's definitely simple. So I got a mentorship program for credit repair business owners, and we have a Slack channel. In the Slack channel, in the sales channel, because we have a sales channel, I basically teach them as far as, the mindset of sales and things like that. So during this day, I basically had taken 4 sales calls for our business, and on average, we charge about $2,500. That's what it is per contract. So I was basically letting my students know in the channel that basically that day, I had an opportunity for $10,000 in revenue. So scaling is really just about knowing your numbers. So out during that day was today. I closed 2 deals, so that's, $5,000 in revenue, and there's 1 pending one and 1 no-show out of the 4 calls I took. That doesn't even take into consideration my sales team as well. I'm just saying me personally. So, I say that to say, if the last person comes through, then that would be about $7,500 today in, total revenue, right? So, I say that to say that scaling is simple, but it's not easy. It's not necessarily easy, but it's simple. It's literally simple math. We're gonna walk through it. I see a lot of credit repair business owners that stay stuck. Maybe they're in that 10 to 15, 10 to 20K mark. They stay stuck over there because they're overcomplicating everything. Usually, credit repair business owners that are under 10K a month are overcomplicating everything. So I'm gonna make it super simple for y'all, right? One of the reasons why you're not scaling is because you simply don't have enough opportunities, right? So when I say you don't have enough opportunities, some of y'all are charging like super low and not having enough volume to even sustain what you would get, right? And your closing rate is super low. So how are you even gonna scale your business, right? So one thing you got to realize too, some of y'all are not tracking your KPIs, your key performance indicators. How many appointments do you need to have daily just to sustain, your monthly income goal? So that's what we're going to talk about. You have to know your numbers. It's a very simple process, right? So number one, identify your monthly goal. We're going to use 10K a month, for example, because that's standard. A lot of people, when they hit that 10K, they feel like they made it. I remember when I first started my credit repair business in 2021. One issue with me, I could drop a whole video on this. One issue with me was I fell into the trap like a lot of y'all do, and I was just doing multiple things. I damn near ran away from credit repair at one point, and it wasn't until I really focused and locked in 2022, then I was able to leave my 9 to 5 job June 2022, right? So February 2021, I was learning and all that, getting access to information, consumer laws and all that, but I wasn't focused. I tried car rentals. I tried, different types of businesses while I was trying the credit repair thing. So I know it's somebody out there that's doing multiple things. Number one, I just want you to focus. This is just aside from the video. I want you to focus on one thing. So just focus on the credit repair. Because what took me 14 months to leave my job, it could have been done sooner if I had just focused, right? So I wish I had someone that was watching on YouTube, like myself, to tell me just to focus. So make sure you're focusing on one thing, right? So identify your monthly goal. So, like I said, if I was focused, I would have hit my first 10K month a long time ago, right? So for my credit repair, I hit my first 10K month like early 2022. I should have hit in my first year of business, but I was just all over the place. And ever since then, it's been up, God willing. So identify your monthly goal. 10K a month is standard. And then number two, you're gonna define your closing rate. So you need to know your closing rate basically. So if you don't know what your closing rate is, I want you to make it your mission to take maybe 5 calls a week or something, 5 calls that you close a week. I would say the more the merrier. If you could do 10, take calls for a month and then calculate week after week after week. And then you'll be able to understand what your closing rate is essentially. So just calculate week after week and take the average. So we're going to use 20% for our example. To be honest, 20% is very low. Standard average is like 30%, but I want to give y'all the worst possible case scenario so that you can overperform. And then the third step, you're going to calculate the minimum revenue opportunity you need for the month based on your prices, right? So how many appointments that you need essentially. So for our example, we're going to say you're charging $1,000 for your services. So we need a minimum of 50 appointments or about 1.6 appointments a day on average, right? That's what we're averaging daily. That's not hard at all to do. So let's look at it. So let's say our monthly goal is 10K a month, right? We have a low closing rate of 20%. We charge $1,000 for our services. The minimum amount of monthly appointments that we need is 50. We need to get 50 appointments on that calendar if we're only closing at 20%. But let's see how some of the numbers change, right? Let's say our closing rate doubles. It's 40%. Now look, we only need 25 appointments just to get our numbers right if nothing else changes. So you see how we just lessen so much of the work that we need to do just because we increase our closing rate. How do you increase your closing rate? You increase your closing rate by understanding sales. I just told y'all. We have a sales channel here in my mentorship program. You see that says sales. It says wins and all that. We have funding, coaching call recordings. We got a bunch of stuff, right? But sales, sales is very, very important when it comes to credit repair as well. Yeah, you're gonna get referrals, easy layups and things like that. But when you get somebody from online, you have to understand sales. So if your closing rate is 20% or less, you're gonna have a lot of appointments to meet your income goal, right? And 10K a month is not a lot of money, but I understand from someone that's just starting. I don't want to come on here and talk like if we're talking bigger numbers, people may be like, okay, I don't see that for myself, right? Because a lot of people suffer from lack of belief. So we want to just start simple. All right, so let's just say we modify our services. Let's just say we double our prices. So we go from 1,000 to 2,000. Same thing. We still don't have to do 50 appointments. We just have to do 25 appointments. So you see how when you double your prices, you have a higher chance of converting. I told y'all what I did like today, our services, the contracts that we were closing are $2,500 contracts. Some might say like, dang, you're charging a lot for your services. I understand what we're doing. I understand the consumer laws. You know what I'm saying? If you're a credit repair business owner and you feel like you're worth $500, then you're worth $500. Me, myself, me and my students, we know what we're worth, right? So just understand how price can really drive the amount of work that you have to do as well. So scaling your business, getting the right people in place, you might be like, okay, 25 appointments for the month is a lot. 50 appointments for the month is a lot. Think about it. If it's you one closer, a second closer, a third closer, is that really a lot of appointments? It's not, right? So that's what we talk about with the scaling. You got to have team members that's also doing stuff as well, right? So I had 4 appointments today for me personally for credit repair. If I got 4 other guys, they got 4 appointments as well. We got like 20 appointments in the day, right? So just keep that in mind. So on the flip side, let's say the numbers go down. So your monthly goal is still 10K a month, but let's say your closing rate is 10%. If your closing rate is 10%, then you need to take your credit card and get in a mentorship so we can help you increase that. But yeah, it really shouldn't be that low. There's no reason why it should be that low. So let's say your price of services stays the same at 1,000. Now instead of 50 appointments, you're gonna need to get 100 minimum monthly appointments just to sustain that 10K a month goal. So keep that in mind. You want to make sure your closing rate is not trash. So let's say we keep our 20% closing rate, which is still trash, but we don't believe in ourselves. So let's just say our services are only $500. You need 20 clients just to get 10K a month versus if it's $1,000 dollars for your services, you only need 10 clients. For us, based off of the $2,500 contract, we only need 4 clients just to hit 10K a month. So you got to really realize like the price and your closing rate is gonna really drive how easy or how hard you're gonna work to scale your business. And then minimum monthly appointments with those low numbers will be $100. Not $100, 100 appointments. So your action item. This is your action item. So your action item is to identify your next month's monthly goal. I want you to identify your closing rate. So figure that out if you don't know it already. If it's 20, 30%, 40%, if you're closing half of them, cool. 50%, that's cool. Higher than 50% is great, right? So to identify your closing rate so you can calculate your minimum monthly opportunities you need. So you just need to define your KPIs and at the end of the day, just execute and make adjustments. So this is really scaling with predictability. And some of y'all might be like, oh, how do I even get more opportunities, right? This is the truth. You can watch my appointment setting video that's in the Credit Repair Business Gems playlist. You can also run profitable ads, which I recommend that you do. On top of that, too, like I said, we have a mentorship program. You just saw the Slack channel where my students are winning, where my students are getting sales trainings, right? Where they're just learning how to get to the next level. You you become who you're around essentially, right? There's power in proximity. So if you're ready to scale your business, your credit repair business with predictability, or if you're just starting and you want to do it the right way, go ahead and look at the link in the description. You can book a call, bring your credit card ready to go. Program is not cheap. We do have payment plans, but it's definitely not cheap. So yeah, let me know your biggest takeaway below too. Hopefully this video helped y'all. And with that being said, y'all have a blessed one.